Well, guys, man, the second day of the Cleveland Browns OTA kicked off, man. We had some things take place. We had a lot of things that was talked about. We saw some good. We saw some bad. We heard from Todd Monken. We also heard from Cleveland Brown reporter Daniel Ofuzi stating on some things that Todd Monken had said about Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. QB competition is on, if there is a QB competition. Things heated up today. We saw some good things from Shedeur Sanders. We saw some good things from Deshaun Watson. And we also saw Jerry Jeudy botch up something that made Deshaun Watson look bad. You are now tuned in to a brand new episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Well, we got to talk about how the OTAs went down today. We're going to talk about it right after this.
Let me put you on game. These other podcasts out here talking that shit, but ain't repping the same. It's my bro K-Sap, chopping up topics for your optics. From politics to your cockpits. Tune in, you gotta watch this. Exclusive material for your radio, stereo, pumping high definition. Stop what you doing and listen. We smashing all competition. You better jump on this wave. Somebody pass me a mic, man. I got something to say.
Well, guys, you know I got something to say, man. Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns, their OTA second day. We got to talk about these quarterbacks because that's the main focus that it seems like the Cleveland Browns and the Cleveland media and these insiders are focused on. So we're going to talk about everything that went down in OTAs today and give y'all real context on what has happened and not some of this narrative-based driven things that are out there. Now, OTAs ended up, going as planned. Y'all remember when Todd Monken said that all the reps are not going to be distributed evenly? And it seems like Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders is getting the reps divided up between them. We ain't really seen, anything about Dylan Gabriel's reps or Taylor Green's reps. We did see in the first day of OTAs, Dylan Gabriel threw a couple picks. We saw Deshaun Watson getting the ball deflected across the middle. We saw Shedeur Sanders getting his pass deflected as well. But in the second days of OTA, what was revealed? And as I'm watching, some of the OTA and some of the footage that's been floating online, I just wanted to come and give y'all real context to what happened. But we're going to listen to what Todd Monken said, after OTAs and pay close attention to what he said about Shedeur Sanders and then what, he said about Deshaun Watson and also the upcoming, season going down to Jacksonville. So let's take a listen to Todd Monken. And after we take a listen to Todd Monken, we'll come back and we'll finish the show and I'll show you everything that Daniel Ofuzi had to say, that Todd Monken was big on Shedeur and all the reps that he took. And then we're going to see some, clips of Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders in action. But first, let's take a listen to what Todd Monken had to say.
His superpowers is athleticism. And I think Shedeur's come miles in terms of his progressions, getting the ball out, his understanding of concepts. I think he's really, really come a long way.
The defense was able to have a couple heads-up picks, knock the ball out a couple times. Did you like their aggression in this session today?
Yeah. We threw interceptions in 7-on-7, for God's sakes. I mean, who does that? There's no pass rush. I mean,
wow.
It was embarrassing.
Remember he said that.
With Deshaun been like, with all that he's gone through to get to this.
Well, he's been great. I mean, I think everybody would say it. I'm all for a clean slate. I want the best for every player, every coach. I want the best for, anybody in this world to have a great life. I think it's really cool that he still has an opportunity with a change, right, to showcase his ability, see where he's at. I'm all for it.
Todd, a question about your schedule. You have worked in Jacksonville and Tampa, so you know what's waiting for you in September, weather-wise. Has that affected your training camp plans at all?
No, I think it's awesome. I think having 2 back-to-back Florida games, I think if our guys don't understand what that means when we come to training camp and it's hot out, and us our ability to practice in it and get acclimated in it, I mean, I think they already get it. I think they already understand. We went out there yesterday, and we were fine, but they realized it was only 85. You know, it's going to be 20 degrees hotter, and it's going to be right at 1 o'clock like yesterday, and we're going to have to be ready to go.
So you seem excited about that.
I am excited. I think it's a great start. I think for us, I wouldn't want it any more better than that. I mean, should we get to go down to Florida? Certainly a team that a year ago was in a similar spot as we are. You know, where are they going from there? And a team that was a playoff team and really had every opportunity to beat the Bills at home and didn't. But I'm excited. Playoff team in Florida, 100-some degrees, middle of the day. And if that doesn't get you fired up, that doesn't get our guys fired up for the offseason and then go to training camp, I don't know what will.
Todd, you've known about Deshaun's athleticism for a long time, and before he got here, you probably didn't know how driven he was. About him that he still wants to be an elite player after all he's been through in the last couple of years.
Oh, I think it's really cool. I know I've said that like 5 times today, but like, here's a guy that really, at this point, has made plenty of money. I think we all know that, right? He's had plenty of success and has had disappointment, you know, in his career. A number of things he couldn't control from an injury standpoint. But to come back and want to battle, want to further his career and change the narrative, I think it's really cool.
You heard what Todd Monken had to say, man. He gave kudos to Shedeur Sanders for making strides in the right direction. So he really loved what he's seeing from Shedeur Sanders. He also touched on throwing interceptions on 7-on-7 without no pass rush. And that's very important because I'm going to show you some clips of today's OTA, and this is what Todd Monken was referring to. But before we get off into that, let's see what Daniel Ofusi had to say about Todd Monken on what happened in OTAs today. Now, Daniel Ofusi, one of the Cleveland Brown reporters, said Todd Monken on how he divided the quarterback reps today. Actually, today, Deshaun, when we 2-spot, we divided up Shedeur and Deshaun. So when it was 2-spotted, we just kept the guys in the same spot. Actually, Shedeur Sanders took the first team reps for the rest of the practice. So that's very interesting on what Daniel Ofusi is reporting based on all these other reports that you get from Tony Grossi, Mary Kay Cabot, and things like that, because Daniel Ofusi is one of the go-to guys in Cleveland when it comes to reporting. So that's very imperative. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things that happened in OTAs with Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. Let's take a look. Now, this is Shedeur Sanders. Now, watch Shedeur Sanders go through his progressions and watch Shedeur Sanders step up in the pocket and complete the pass to the tight end. Now, watch Deshaun Watson. Nobody's rushing. He throws the ball to Jerry Jeudy. It gets deflected and gets picked off. And that's the things that Todd Monken was referring to because of the fact that there's no pass rush. Deshaun Watson had a clear sight to throw the ball. He tried to throw in traffic. Jerry Jeudy didn't help the cause. That's y'all's boy, Jerry Jeudy. Seemed like Jerry Jeudy got his hands on the ball. It got deflected. But that's what I'm saying. The difference between what Deshaun Watson did today and what Shedeur Sanders did is separated because it looked like Shedeur Sanders went through his progressions, stepped up in the pocket, and threw a dart to the tight end. And then Deshaun Watson, you saw there was no rush. He was clean in the pocket, and he sat back there on his first read and threw the ball to Jerry Jeudy, got it deflected, and got it picked off. That's the difference. I know interceptions are going to happen, you know, in practice and in training camp and things like that. It's a learning experience. We move on. But that's what Todd Monken was pissed off when he was at the podium talking about, for God's sakes, man, we throwing an interception with no pass rush. So that got to eat a coach alive. But you guys see what it was today in OTAs. Don't let all these other narratives steer you in the wrong direction. I see everybody in the comments section. #salute. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Turn the post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. Oh, yeah, just in case I forgot. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.